Okay, I'd like to turn my camera on first. I'd like to welcome all of you to another one of our co-founder trainings. We do this every Monday and Thursday, and this happens to be our Thursday edition this week on it's Thursday, June 12th, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're glad for all of you that have showed up here live. You really get the best. I think you're getting a special treat. We had kind of like some videos that we played before starting the recording, and we didn't want to get into any copyright infractions or whatever by just recording videos on our recording. So we always start this after we play videos and whatnot. And I also gave the people that hear a glimpse into the administration portion of our website, showing that we have flipped the switch and have turned on distribution for the first batch of those that have been verified. Okay, so we're real close to 500 people that have been verified, and so the first batch of that 500, the switch has been flipped. They are receiving distributions now, and so we've turned it back on. It's been over a month that we've had it turned off for to kind of sort through everyone. So we're still sorting people out, as you can tell by yesterday. I'm going to be covering a bit of that today. And so realize that we want the distribution to be turned on very, very soon. Okay. So some of the videos that we played, let me share my screen. We did kind of a contrast here. And one of the videos we played is something called Gray State. It happens to be a movie trailer for a movie that actually didn't come to be. And there's a long story behind that. But the trailer itself is like a mini movie. If you ask me, you get the idea of the whole thing the movie would have been about. But it kind of shows a future that I don't want to see. And basically, I put here on the wall of joy, do not watch this video. If you don't want to see violence, this video is an example of what I, Ace, believe the world, depending on a universal basic income, UBI, will turn into, and it is violent, mature audience only. So some of you maybe don't want to watch violence, and you don't, that's why I put the warning there, don't watch, because some of you don't really want to watch that. And I can totally appreciate that. I totally get it. If you don't want to expose yourself to, scenes of violence, I, respect you for that. So there's the warning there. For those of you that, maybe even have an appetite to watch, but, maybe not, actually participate in violence other than watch, then you might be able to handle the video, what I'm saying. But to me, I don't want to live in a world that's driven by UBI. How about you guys? Do you want to live in a world driven by UBI, a universal basic income?
No,
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 no, no.
no
Not
way.
a chance.
And then we played this video here, okay, which many of you have seen it. Okay, so this video is something that a member of ours has put together, kind of to me, kind of creating a song for the movement that we're all part of here in Pull Funding. Okay, and that's the world I want to live in. How about you guys?
Yeah. Right there with you.
Yeah,
Okay, so
sign me up.
we have contrast here. Sometimes the best way to see the light is, in the darkness. Does that make sense, guys? Right? Like the flame of a candle in on a sunny day may not be that well seen, but in the darkest of night, that tiny flame on that candle can be seen from a long way, right? So that's the nature of light for you. Okay. Sometimes it's easier to see it when it's got the contrast. So I've asked everyone here, take the next couple of days. You got Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then we come back together on Monday. But take a few days and give this some serious contemplation about the timeline where you want to be when all of this is happening. Okay, and kind of in a way, if you watch that little video that has some violence in it, there's parts of it. Well, that's already happening. Oh, that's already happening, and that's already happening. you know. Um, there's parts of it that are, you could tell that we're right now is the time. We're not talking about what our kids are going to go through. Okay. It's us, okay, guys, and it's now, okay. And so the choice is ours to make, as to how we're going to build the future together. Okay, are we just going to sit back and just take it, whatever comes, without any kind of expression of ourselves in making a difference, or right? Which is honestly, I'd say that's what most people do. That's what I've noticed. Is most people is like, it is what it is, and what can you do? And like, hey, whatever happens, and that kind of attitude to me is so close to apathy. You know what I'm saying? Where if you live in apathy, you're probably not going to get the best outcome for your personal life. Okay. I recommend that you don't embrace apathy as an approach to life. Instead, embrace, beingness and doingness. Okay. Be what you want the world to be and do accordingly. Okay. So be and do, right? And then you'll get to have that world, right? So that's what I believe in. I believe that as individuals, we do have power. And as we group together, as individuals grouping together to make something positive happen, very good. So I don't know about you, but I've never heard of anything outside of pool funding where they're offering a $3,000 a month giveaway. You guys ever heard anything like that before outside of pool funding?
No,
Never.
no,
That's a new one,
No.
right? Okay. So could you imagine if like 1 million people were getting $3,000 a month, part of our giveaway? Imagine that for a minute. 1 million people. Like, wow, that'd be amazing, right? What if it was 10 million people? What if it was 100 million people getting $3,000 a month? Okay, now we're talking about a clear alternative to a UBI. See my point?
Yes.
See what I'm saying here? Okay.
Mhm.
And look, it's not a giveaway forever. It's a giveaway until you get to the point where your cash flow is greater than whatever you're receiving in the giveaway. You don't need the giveaway anymore, and then that the giveaway for you at that point drops off because your cash flow from what you're doing inside pool funding is greater than, and it's okay for you to move on. And that's great, right? That's empowerment. You like that word, empowerment? You like that
Yes.
word?
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
Yeah. Empowerment is like, okay, we're going to help you here until you can do it on your own. Okay. Kind of like daddy and the daughter on the bicycle. Okay. He's there with her, making sure she don't fall until she's got it. Right. And then she's having joy as she rides the bike without the need of daddy anymore. Right. So
Yes.
empowerment. So that's what we got here, but there's conditions in order for it to work. Okay. In order for this idea that we can do a $3,000 a month giveaway and we can spread it around the world, and we can let, I want to use the word endless, and because it just makes that word resonates for me. Just imagine that we can provide this giveaway to an endless number of people. Okay. Wow. What do you think about that? Does that sound good?
Yes.
awesome.
yeah,
Wonderful.
Yeah, boss.
But the thing is that in order for that to happen, okay, in order for that to happen, there's conditions for those that are already part of it. Okay. So let me go into that now. Let me share my screen. Let's close that. Oops. Let's see here. I want to go. Let's go here. Okay. So right here, if you go right below the accounting area of the account page, you get into training. The very first thing on the training is the pool funding commitment. Guys, This is the key. This is the key to spreading a $3,000 a month giveaway to an endless number of people, right? And it's one of those things that we need everyone on board. So if you're a member, you should be on board with this commitment because, quite frankly, it's kind of the condition here. Okay. It's kind of the condition. So if you don't take this particular part of the training serious, because there's more training down below here, all of this is training, right? Training, 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 training. It's the key stuff that I want you to be paying attention to right now. Okay. And but it starts with the commitment here. Okay. Every word of what's in this video here is written down below it here. So you could probably copy and paste it and put it into a Google Translator if you need to look at it in a different language, right? But that's it, guys. This pool funding commitment matters. Okay. On the other hand, what happens? I have to mute Juna. Okay, make sure you stay muted when we're doing the presentation part. All right, let's see here. Share. So if we go into YouTube here, there's this video that just came out 8 hours ago. It's me talking, for about 11 minutes, okay? Talking about how selling hurts, okay? Now, if you go back to the commitment, it definitely is talking about there's a time to sell and there's a time not to sell. We just happen to be right now in that time not to sell. But regardless, there's a path that you don't have to sell. You could actually borrow against. And the video does address that as an alternative, because anytime you sell, not only are you probably shortchanging yourself, but you also are making an impact on the entire community and also our ability to provide a $3,000 a month giveaway to an endless number of people and an alternative to a UBI, right? The success of our program has meaning in the world in the sense that if we can demonstrate clearly that the people can come together from the bottom up and work with one another properly and have the market as something that we draw from, but we do it in such a way that no one gets hurt, right? We want something that win, nobody loses. That's what we're after. And inside that commitment is the pattern that we need to follow in order to create that situation where together no one loses, everybody wins, everybody happy. Okay. How do you guys feel about that commitment? Is it important or whatever? What do you guys think about that commitment?
It's
It
critical.
is
I
important.
think it's important.
Yeah, it's
It's needed.
absolutely imperative.
Yeah. And then, here's the thing, guys, is that right now we've opened up the Well Club. In a way, the Wells have come out ahead because of, what inspired that video was somebody sold off coin here. Okay. Let me show you here, guys, the charts. It was not somebody, it was actually two people. It was a sponsor and their referral. They went together on it and they made a sell-off. And this video, I kind of, talk about what they did and how they've really hurt themselves more than anything else, right? So more than anything else, the self-harm is a shame. I'm really sad for them that they have brought self-harm to themselves because they've locked themselves out of, receiving more from pool funding. They've kind of cut their ties with us in a way, But if you see this chart dropping all the way from $100,000 suddenly down to $6,000, two people did that. Two people did that. This one here, they got about $2,300. They pulled out. This one pulled out about $470. But then the Wells just came in and started buying it right back up because that's what Wells are going to do. And they're getting more coin that way than they otherwise would have if they were buying up here. So, from the Wells point of view, like, yay, I'm getting more coin now. Awesome. But from a regular member point of view, it's like, I don't know. I've heard words like demoralizing, like a member sees a chart like that and it kind of demoralizing to them. And the last thing that we want to do inside of pool funding is have a bunch of members who are feeling demoralized. Am I right about that?
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. So this is why, we all have to come together and work together so that we can spread a $3,000 a month giveaway to the whole world and, to an endless number of people. It's not just my responsibility to do that. Okay. I'm only one guy, right? There's only one of me. Am I right about that? At least in this universe, right? So there's one of me here in this universe. And I do my best with the time I've got, guys. I really do. Okay. But what needs to happen is each of you as members have a responsibility. And let me show you where that responsibility starts. Okay. So this is officially training section. Okay. If you haven't figured it out, we're going into training right now. A lot of it was, philosophical up until now. So now we're going into training. If you go again into our website here, it starts right here, this referral link. So if I copy that, it's on the clipboard, and I go over here to, and I paste it in there like that, it's going to open up a registration page, free registration, doesn't cost you anything to register. Okay. It starts here. Okay. Do not give out your link to someone that you haven't got some trust established. Okay. Don't blast your link on, full automation, like you put it into your email and blast out your link to sign up to 10 million people on email. I mean, come on. Don't do things like that where you're just throwing your link around like it doesn't have value. It has a lot of value. Okay. You want to know who you're giving that link to before you give it to them. Do I need to spend more time on this topic? Is my point very clear?
I think we got it.
Yep.
Okay. So it starts there. That's where it starts. And then the next thing is that once you've given that link out there, then you're going to start with, something, like our 777 giveaway. So that's kind of a beginning point for a person. Okay. But here's another mistake that a lot of people make is they like sign up people and then neglect them. They kind of like, okay, you're in. All right, go for it, And oh my God, that's the worst thing you could do, not only to them and to you and to the whole community. I mean, neglect. Okay. I mean, how imagine a child that grows up with neglect, right? Like it comes into the world, is born, is birthed into the world, but mother and father both, completely neglect the child. How do you think that child's going to turn out if they make it to 18? How are they going to turn out?
Poorly.
I mean, that's the perfect recipe for a serial killer, if you ask me. They're raising a serial killer, right? I mean, you can't take something new and just neglect it, okay? Because it's gonna turn out wrong, right? Instead, plan on spending at least 7 days where you're gonna have a conversation with this brand new person, okay? And you're going to just kind of take them one day at a time, have a pattern, and I can provide that pattern of what you're going to do. When you come to the training, the training actually puts into there a pattern to follow. Okay. But yeah, you sign them up and then you talk to them every day. Okay. And maybe you use the opportunity to do the $111 back and forth to each other. So you're only missing that tool for a few minutes, not hours. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times I see people get screwed up in the 777 giveaway because they've thrown the tool out, and it's just sitting there idle for hours, not being used. And then something goes wrong somehow, right? And then, you see there can be problems with that, right? You see what I'm saying, guys?
Mhm.
Yeah. Especially if you only have one tool, if you don't have multiple tools, right? If you don't have 222, 333, 444, if you don't have multiple tools, you only got one tool to work with, why would you let it sit out there for hours? That doesn't make sense to me. But somehow, if you can make it so that you know when they want to do their payment and you're coordinated enough, and you also use that as an opportunity to have a conversation with them. So, okay, we're doing this little 2-minute activity together. Now we're going to have a conversation, and basically, you want to basically make sure that they don't feel neglected, right? And that's the sponsor's responsibility. Am I wrong about this?
Absolutely not.
No, not at all.
Right. Not at
Absolutely
all.
right. You're right.
Okay. There's only one of me. I can't be the sponsor for all of your peoples. Okay. I can't play that role for everybody. As much as I try to make myself available for your new people that you bring in, and I want to support them, there's only one of me. So it is the sponsor's responsibility to love their referrals enough to spend time with them. Otherwise, you're in the wrong game. If you're not in the love game, you're in the wrong game. Okay? Pool funding is a love game. Okay? We're not a fear game. We're not a money game. We are a love game. Figure that out early, that you're in the love game, because in the love game, we're spreading $3,000 a month giveaway to an endless number of people in the love game so that we don't have to go through a violent future together. Right? Because we do something from the
Right.
bottom
Yeah,
up
that's
that
right.
works. Okay? Yeah.
Right, work together, TM.
If we don't talk to each other, and it starts between that sacred relationship between the referral and their sponsor, it starts there. Let me tell you another mistake that commonly comes up that I hear about. Sometimes people are really good at, they're good at recruiting. They're good at, bringing in lots of people. And then they think, well, I'll just start giving away some of my referrals to my downline, they might call it. You know what I'm saying? We're not network marketing, by the way, but they might use that terminology. Horrible, horrible, terrible, bad idea. Okay. That's a terrible idea. Don't do it. You'll just poison your referral. You'll encourage the person that is your referral to basically depend on you instead of taking ownership of their responsibility for doing their part. And all you're doing is encouraging weakness, not strength. And then you're throwing away a perfectly good person that becomes the sign up below that referral, right? You're throwing them away like they're not valued. And then they don't feel like you don't really care about them, and you're the one that found them and all that. And you're gonna toss them down and to believe someone that they don't know. You're basically misunderstanding pool funding altogether if you're doing that. Okay. If you find them, keep them. They're yours, right? 10 of them, 20 of them. It's okay. But there's different parts of what we're doing. So you shouldn't only be focused about, how, building a team as wide as possible, because you got to do things in measured strokes, right? And so there's a whole bunch of things. Now, let me ask all of you this question. Would you rather train them as, you're the sponsor? Would you rather be the one training them, or would you rather have me training your people?
A mixture of both.
You training them.
I think Joe's got the most wise answer, but the answer I was looking for, you'd want me to do the training for you. And so the bottom line is you really need to encourage them to show up to the training. Okay. That's what we do on Mondays and Thursdays, is the training. And if for some reason there's a conflict in their schedule and they can't be here, they should watch the YouTube video, but then they should for sure leave a positive comment to let us know, leave evidence that they were there, that they did watch the training. But they should also do a small report back to their sponsor. They should write something back to their sponsor, what they got out of the training, right? So the sponsor knows that they have actually got the training. Because these people floundering and flipping around inside of pool funding, and being all confused what it is. And no wonder we got people that are selling off the coin, like $2,300, right? $470, right? When they could have got, if the price, if we had price stability, they could have gotten $7,000. And now in that case, the person had 60% of a coin. So that would have been worth $60,000 at price stability. Price stability is coming sooner than you may realize. We don't have price stability right now because we're in the process of hitting our price target. So our strategy for price target is low liquidity so that the price can go to its target quickly. But it cuts both ways. It also goes down quickly if there's sell-offs. That's why there should be no selling of our coin, period. No one should be selling, not $1 worth, not $10 worth, certainly not $2,300 worth. Okay. There should be no selling happening right now because we haven't hit our first price target. Okay. And so inside that commitment, on the training there, it tells you how to do the selling when the time is right. It's inside that commitment, what will work so that we can spread the $3,000 a month giveaway to an endless number of people. Otherwise, if enough of people, end up just, doing the opposite thing of what will work, then it's going to impact the whole community and what we're trying to do, and it will frustrate us. And, I want this to be successful. Don't you?
Yes,
Absolutely.
Yes.
definitely.
So this is why the responsibility is not only mine. I have plenty of responsibility, but the sponsors got responsibility. Okay. And the responsibility is to make sure that their referrals are like solid on that commitment, okay, and that they understand the commitment and they agree to it, and they wouldn't even think about doing anything other than that commitment because they realize that the person that gets hurt the most is they themselves for breaking the commitment because they're cutting themselves off from actually receiving more, right? And let's face it, $3,000 a month. I mean, how silly is it to collect $2,300 now and cut yourself off from receiving $3,000 monthly ongoing? How silly is that? See how the person hurt themselves, right? They hurt themselves, didn't they?
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Stupid is as stupid does. Okay. But maybe it was a lack of proper guidance and training coming from their sponsor, from the leaders above them. And they thought, well, this is in my wallet. I mean, it's my possession, meaning I can do whatever I want with my possession. They're missing the point of pool funding. Okay. Now, if you want to go live in that violent world, it fits over there. Okay. That kind of thinking. That's where it fits. But over here with pool funding, it don't fit. Okay. That's why each of us has got to make a choice about the timeline we want to go into. We got to give it some thought. Think about that very carefully. Like, what world do we want to go into? Because we don't need to be concerned about our children. The events are happening now that lead up to the choice that humanity is going to make. Okay, and so yeah, and the best part about this is that those that operate at the higher level are going to have a higher level experience as you move through a timeline. Okay. So people are going to have different experiences based on who they are. So you want to be the best version of yourself so that you can get the best timeline, experience to go with it. Right. So this whole idea of what do you want to call it? Feeling defeated, feeling like, oh my world, the world's just going to blow up. What can I do about it? And it's I'm just one person. I'm not going to have any kind of impact on what is going to happen in the world. You simply don't know what you are if you're thinking like that. You might think you know who you are, right? But you're probably wrong about that too. But I tell you, the right question to ask, what are you? Look in the mirror. What am I? Ask that question. Okay.
Right, sir.
Because once you figure out you get a clue about what you are, you'll realize that you're in charge of you. You are in charge of you. And that's
Yes, sir.
powerful, superpower, right? Is that Rosalie? Yeah. That's it. That's what we want to do. We want to have those of you that are coming to the training end up on a timeline that you love, not that you hate. Okay. End up having a life experience that is just amazing. Because I don't believe in one reality. There's too much evidence that I've seen with my own experiences, you could say. There's too much evidence to show that there's got to be more than one reality, and you can navigate between one reality to another, and you don't even know it because it's not like a portal opens up and you walk through this golden ring of plasma, and whoop, now you're in a different reality. It's invisible moving through these portals. You don't see that what you're doing because you don't even know what you are. You're just doing it. It's like you just don't know any better. You don't know what you're doing, but you actually are moving from one place to another. And there's a place here where pool funding is a huge success in the world. Okay. And we end up creating a situation where, we made it, they didn't even bother coming out with a UBI because the people rose up and had the solution that didn't need an alternative solution presented, right? And all the need for that violence and all that gone because we got this. But it does come down to the sponsor responsibility here. So don't be afraid of that responsibility. Look at it like a joy. Okay. Joy comes from something that you put yourself into something, right? And it comes back beautiful, right? That brings joy. I'm trying to put it in words. Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yes.
So when
Yeah.
you put yourself into your referrals and you look out for their best interest, okay, and then you see your referrals growing because of your influence coupled with the opportunity of pool funding, that
Right.
combination,
Right, sir.
that makes sense, right, Marjorie? Where they're coming up
Right.
and they're growing and you know that you're a part of that, and you get that really feel good feeling, that joyful feeling, knowing that you contributed to somebody else's happiness, somebody else's
Yes, sir.
well-being, that you made a positive impact on another life other than your own. Now, I'm not saying that a good person is the sacrificial lamb that they give up everything they got. In fact, I'm going to say it's the opposite of that. The first person that you need to make sure is doing well is yourself. You got to start there, just like the whole analogy of on the airplane, the oxygen mask drop down, you put your straw on first, then you help others. Same kind of thing. But there's nothing selfish about that. It's just that strength will lead to strength, which will lead to strength. You can't in the space of weakness try to strengthen another, right? You need to have strength yourself so that you can then strengthen others. And that's why many of you need to be connected with your leaders here in pool funding, because their strength will be something that can make you stronger. Okay. And that's why we're all about love. Okay. Because if it's not done in the spirit of love, right? If our actions and our thoughts and our the motivation behind what we're doing, if it's not done through the spirit of love, we're actually shortchanging the experience. Okay. If it's only motivated by greed or motivated by despair, where a person's like, yeah, pool funding can't save me, I don't know what will, right? That'd be a kind of a way of looking at it, like despair, right? That you need to be saved, you know? It's best to look at it like it's about giving and receiving in an exchange of human to human contact in a positive way, where you are actually lifting one another, right? That's the right spirit in order for pool funding to create this $3,000 a month giveaway to an endless number of people. You see, that's the core of it all is the love. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
yes,
Because if we all just out for ourselves and like, well, I got this issue and I got that issue, hey, we all got financial problems that we need to solve. And sometimes we look at the screen like this, okay? We go here like this and go, golly gee, I got bills and I'm looking at this thing here and I'm going, let's get to the $100 pool where it's more interesting. So I'm looking over here at coins distributed, $16,000 of coins distributed to me here. Okay. And like, golly gee, it'd be nice to use that on such and such or this other thing that, kind of, pestering me right now. It's a problem, like, school supplies and tuition for the kids. Okay. Here in the Philippines, right? So what's coming up. And be looking at, if I just sell some of this off, then I can cover that. Well, this is the wrong time to sell. It's violating the commitment. Okay. The wrong time to sell. Okay. Wrong time to sell. And so if you're only looking at it from, this is just a financial thing only, and you don't see the love within it, you don't recognize that, and you're outside of it looking at it the wrong way, then yeah, the temptation may be too great and you might fall, end up cutting yourself off. So basically imagine selling something like that and then never, ever, ever getting this. That's what would happen, by the way. If you sell prematurely, then basically what you're holding will never show up in your wallet. This right here, you're not going to get it if you violate the commitment. Okay. If you violate this, okay, you're not going to get this. And you're not going to continue to get, $3,000 a month or a lot of other things. You may not be able to have access to this page. When you be suspended, you can't even get to the account page, So this is the reason why we're doing verification, as an effort to identify, the weak spots here inside of the community. And we're trying to, make sure that everybody's on here. So when you go through verification, and most of you have already done that, okay, if you haven't, please do. You go through verification, the person verifying you asks you word for word a couple of questions. I gave them word for word what to ask. Right, Rosalie? She's one of the executives.
Boss. Yes,
Yeah.
boss.
And you're asking those
Yeah.
questions, word for word, right? And they tie into that commitment,
Yes.
right?
Yes, sir.
So
Aside
basically,
from that, we are also additionally like if they are not in the commitments. So for the Filipinos, I'm additional like giving them a little bit additional information from that.
I appreciate
Why
that.
they must do ano. Yes, boss.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
if you can add clarity in that process, that's great. But the bottom line is that everybody is saying that they will not sell. If you go through the verification process, you're basically saying, "I promise not to sell." When we're told not to sell, and right now we're telling you that all members should not sell any of our coins right now. So, according to the commitment, nobody should be selling that's within our membership. Okay, nobody should be selling at all. Not $1, not $2,000, nothing. There should be no selling happening at all right now, because we need to get to those price targets as quickly as possible. Okay, so the next thing you need to do is, as a sponsor, and as you're starting to build a team, is you go into your genealogy here. Okay, and you've got the $1, the $10, $100 pools. You can just kind of navigate them. All these people that are in white, okay, you should be talking to them, okay, right? You should be talking to them and say, please get verified, right? And go through our verification process. Let's get that done, okay? Okay. Let's get that done. And you can drill down, right? You can just drill down on the genealogy. There's Rosalie there, right? So on. Okay. But if you see that they don't have a picture, that means they haven't been through verification, and that's a problem, right? We should have everybody verified, right? Now I realize that some people they're gone. they've left. They're still showing up as one of your referrals, but they're gone. And like the relationship is so strained, too awkward to reconnect. Well, we're not going to get those people verified, but they're also not getting, they're not receiving $3,000 a month. They're gone. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm trying to do is that anybody that is getting $3,000 a month and they're not verified, we have a problem there. Okay. We have a problem there. And that's where each of you have to kind of pick up and make sure that you go out and talk to those people and say, hey, you need to get verified. This distribution doesn't go anywhere unless you do. It's not going to flip a switch and then suddenly, the distribution is going to start for you without verification. If the person never gets verified, the distribution will never be distributed, right? It'd be 90 days, 120 days, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. They're not verified, they'll just keep stacking up in their account that they're holding a bunch of coin, but it's not ever going to make it to their wallet ever without verification, right? Well, that could be a problem because that might be, discouraging to those people, which maybe they don't know. They need to get verified, right? Do you see how important verification is, guys?
Yes.
Yes, we do.
Yes, boss. It is
Now,
very
now what
important.
happens
actually.
if someone's verified and then they still violate the commitment? Well, we have their contact information. That's part of verification, is make sure that they've completed their profile and we have a way to reach out to them. And by the way, we encourage all members to be on Telegram, even if they don't love Telegram. We encourage them to be part of it anyway, just so that they're part of the mainstream. And that's the easiest way for me, by the way, to get a hold of people. I find using like Facebook or whatever kind of cumbersome because you have all this, like, we got to make friends with each other first and all that, right? and it's kind of a, other social media platforms make it kind of challenging to communicate, but Telegram is very straightforward. Like I can send a message to someone and they can block me or they can talk to me. It's up to them. But the message gets through and they'll probably see it, they can go through and click on it. So that's one of the reasons we've selected Telegram as the way that we're communicating. Until we actually build that kind of platform internally into our website, which is coming in the future, that is part of our plan, okay? But until we build that, we're using Telegram. So we want to encourage everybody to get Telegram. And one other thing, encourage everyone to do this, because I noticed that some of the people I turned on to, that are part of the first batch of distribution, they're still not going to get coin. Why? Because they didn't follow the instructions here. Okay. Okay, right here. See how it says transaction fee at $10 and change? You should put at least $10 in there to make sure we can cover that we make sure all the back pay that we owe you. Okay, all those coins that we owe you, we want to make sure that we have enough here to cover the transaction fees, because they're still sent out to you as individual stuff. Okay, so let's just go here, page 30. Okay, let's go to the next page. So you can see here that distribution for me stopped on the 29th of April and then began on June 11th. Okay. Today is the 12th. Okay. So that was yesterday, right? So June 11th. Okay. So I've got 2 distributions here. Okay. And that's from the coins that were purchased on January 29th and January 30th. Okay. And the reason we're doing 2 in one day is to make up from the past. So instead of giving you all your coin all at once and risking that some of you might go and sell that with a big lump sum like that, we're just going to do 2 a day, right? So that lessens the temptation for everyone. And then that'll make up, we'll get all caught up within about a month or so. But guess what? Some of you I noticed have 0 here. And I clicked on you and I said, okay, let's distribute to this person. Let's distribute to this person. And then I looked at how much they had in their transaction fee here, and it says 0. Well, those people will never get any distribution because they don't have anything to cover the transaction fee. You're responsible to pay for your own transaction fees for those distributions, okay? and see if your sponsor didn't tell you to do that. Maybe that's why you didn't do it, you know? Right? So yes, I'm telling you to do it. That's why you need to come to training, right? And pay attention to training, because I'm going to tell you, we want to give you the $3,000 and put it into your wallet, okay? And trust you with it. It's a sacred trust, but we want to trust you with it, right? So you've got the power. It's your power to destroy as much as it is to build. And we're trusting that you understand that whatever you do is going to put you on a timeline. You want to be on the timeline of violence, or you want to be on the timeline of, joy, It's your choice, right? So, basically everybody's going to get exactly what they deserve, is what the way I look at it. Everybody's going to go through exactly what they should in order for them to, figure out certain things. Okay. Let's just say that we're all here to figure out certain things. That's why we're here. So there's the other question, right? There's what are you? Who are you? Well, why are you here? Well, trust me, you have your reasons, and believe me, it's your reasons, whether you realize it or not, even if you forgot, right? Because a lot of us came down, we're born, and we forget, what happened before we were born, or some people think that that's the beginning point. Anyway, they'll figure it out at some point that it wasn't the beginning point. No, the you that's you, existed before you were in your mother's womb. But hey, don't believe me if you don't want to. I don't care. You can believe what you want to believe, but I'm telling you, I know that that we all have something we all forgot. Okay. That's all I can tell you. All right. So yeah, so there's the whole point to all of this. So love, relationships, joy, um, training, making sure people get proper updates. Okay, it's a big ball of everything, right? And I covered a lot of ground today, so that I'm done with my part. I'm open to you guys, your response. Okay, so how shall you respond?
Yeah, I wanted to find out how to add the transactions.
Simple. Let me show you the transaction fee. I'll go there. All right. You have to have BNB because it's gonna work with BNB, because that's what's covering the cost of your transaction is the network we're using is the Binance network. So BNB coin is what you use. And when you click on it, it says how much do you want to add, and you want to sit here. I'm telling you right now, if we owe you a bunch of coin, make it 10, okay? Make it $10 worth of BNB. It tells you how much BNB you're going to do here, right? Make it 10, right? And then you hit pay now. That opens up your wallet. Then you confirm that you're going to move $10 of BNB over to the transaction fee wallet and then from there you're covered. And then all the distributions that happen to you here, you're paying for the fee, which I think it works out to be about 2.5 cents per transaction. It's not a lot of money, but hey, if we're doing 3 of them a day for you, right? That's what 2.5 cents, that's 7.5 cents a day, right? And over time, if you're doing this every day for 30 days, you can see why you need the $10, right? So that it does eventually get to the point where you need to add more, but at least you can feel peace of mind if you got $10 in there. Answer your question?
Yeah, that make a lot of sense. And another one, verification.
Yes. How do you do that?
Yes, sir.
Are you on the Wall of Joy?
Yes, I'm on the Wall of Joy.
All right, let me show you something here.
My sponsor, a lot of stuff she haven't told me. But thank God for the meetings. I caught a lot of the meetings.
Boom, you're making my point, buddy. Okay. All right. So we got Rosalie here. So she's one of our executives. Okay. So let me put a poster below her here. We have a team of executives. Let me find them here. Forward that to pool funding wall. So all of them have like down at the bottom here, they all have like a Telegram, how to reach them. So all you gotta do is type that out and you'll be able to reach these executives, but the executives work around the clock. Okay. They each have a shift. So this is Rosalie's shift, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Philippine time, which would be 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's her shift. So you make an appointment with the executive and say, hey, I need to get verified. You know what I'm saying? So you just reach out, you send a direct message to them, right? So they all have their little thing here. That little airplane, that's for Telegram, right? So they all put their stuff in here. There's Maria's thing there. Here's Eric. So they're 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And for now, they are doing verifications. We will automate that verification process later on. I just think it's important for us to have that human-to-human contact with the current group of pool funding members we have now. But later on, once I see things are ship shape, we're not right now, but when they're ship shape, then
ma'am.
do make more sense to automate that verification process.
Okay,
Can you
thank you.
can you kindly share the Telegram link, please? I'm not
Sure.
a part of Telegram group.
Who's your sponsor?
Oh, James.
Okay, great. Let me give you the link here. I will put it in the chat here on the Zoom. Okay, so let me grab the link. More info. Edit. Invitation link. Copy link. Okay, now I'll go to the Zoom chat. So this is our link. So it's for members only. So if you're not a member, it's not for prospects, guys. It's for people that are already members, right? So the day that someone signs up, you want to get them into the group, but be sure to warn them that there's an imposter of me trying to pretend that they're me and scam people out of money. They're taking advantage of my good nature, and that people will be, people love throwing money at me. So they see a picture of me, they want to throw money. It's kind of tricky there. So make sure if you give them the link, then you also are responsible for make sure that they know there is an imposter pretending and scamming people. Okay, it's important. Okay, that they know that they don't fall for that. We have pinned messages at the top of the group, but a lot of people don't see those. Don't actually look at those. So another alternative is you could just send them to me. Okay, so you could actually on Telegram, I'll put my thing in here, and then have me and put them in, and then it gives me a chance to actually say I want to know you, and then in a way it's a better thing. So I'm at Bitcoin Ace 101, not 101, which is like the letter O, because my imposter uses that. Okay, or he might use the small case L or the large case I in the place of my 1, right? He does tricky stuff to try to pretend to be me. And then it tells him about some crazy thing that he's doing. And then people send them hundreds of dollars, and then they think they're sending it to me, and they're not. And then they never hear from the guy again. And he just runs off with their money. It's horrible. So watch out for that guy. Okay. So if you share that link, be prepared to tell people, watch out for that guy. And then there's, other people are claiming that they're also being, there's pretenders out there, using their name and saying that they're, it's weird what people do, tell you. So, Angie, I hope that's helpful information to you. You're new, so. All right, and Delgado. Any other questions?
No, that's sufficient right there.
All right, good deal. So we're here to serve, here to help. That's the point of the training. Anybody else like anything, anybody else got something on their mind they want to talk about before we close out the call today?
Yeah, I was curious if the perpetrators were verified.
I,
The ones that caused the dip in
oh,
the
that lot,
value of the-
they were verified, right? They were verified. And you know, so we did reach out to them. We did, in fact, have a talk. We did talk to them, you know, but they refused to. They refused to compromise. So.
Mm,
So this is what I'm saying. I think if we could rewrite if we could go back and do a redo, how they came in would have made a difference. You know, did they come in understanding that what they're getting into is more of a project of love than money, and that the
right.
money will come, it will follow the love. You know what I'm saying? But if you get the money in front of the love, like you put money first and then love second, it won't work. But if you put love first and money second, you would never do something like that. If if you're a person of love, and these guys were just like, I've talked to both of them. It was like talking to a psychopath or talking to someone that just had no idea what the word remorse. They had no clue what the word remorse even meant. Right? I know
Right.
what remorse is. You know what I'm saying? These guys showed little to no evidence of remorse. They're just cold, unconcerned about anyone other than themselves. And see, the sponsor is the one that should have picked up on that in the first place. Like, wait, who is this person I'm trying to help here? You know, are they someone that doesn't care about anybody but themselves? That's the wrong person for pool funding right now. We don't need those kind of people. We don't need sociopaths, psychopaths, narcissists. We don't need them in here right now. Okay, they can come later. Okay, right now we're trying to build our strength up to get to our first price targets. And what we need is people that get it, that understand that love is our guide, respect is our guide. We would never do anything to violate either of those. And these guys, completely decimated both of them. Both of those guides, and they came from a place of fear and a place of despair and a place of like it's they're only interested in taking care of themselves because they're and but the thing is, I kept pointing out, if you really do want to take care of yourself, you're doing the worst possible thing you could do to yourself. You're cutting yourself out of something that's going to help you. You're not going to get $3,000 a month anymore. The coins that you've already, you're holding, you'll never see those. You'll never get those. You sold too early before we even had price stability. You didn't wait for price stability before selling. You sold cheap. And so you basically hurt yourself. And that's why the title of that video is Selling Hurts. So I would definitely have every single referral that you ever bring in, watch that little 10-minute video, Selling Hurts, so that they understand that selling is more about self-harm than anything else, even though it does impact the community in the morality, if you will, the morale, right, of the community. But that's, the whales come in and gobble it up. It's a short-lived, loss of morale. But these guys have cut themselves off from receiving ongoing and let pool funding move them up to a point of getting to millionaire status, because anybody could become a millionaire. Even if you're Filipino, you can become a millionaire with pool funding, right? And maybe these people are just too full of self-doubt and fear that they do stuff like this and they become cold-hearted to the point where they're unreasonable. You can't even get anything out of them. So there was an effort made. We talked to the sponsor. The sponsor is good. We're working with the sponsor. So the sponsor, it was reachable and supportive and trying, but his referral and the referral of the referral just cold-hearted. And they went through verification. Like how that, like somehow that's going to save them, right? From And you can't have it both ways. Jeez.
Right.
So there you go.
Awesome.
Anyway, we're just trying to help as many people as we can. My heart goes out to these two guys because I know they got families and I know they got stuff and I get it. I totally understand. But they have hurt themselves and they can't even see it. They're blind to the fact of how much they've hurt themselves. So I guess that's my main point is we got to get people to stop hurting themselves. There's a busy road here, a lot of traffic, if I walk out into traffic, right, I can do that. I got the power to do that, but it's not very smart, is it? Step in front of a moving car. It's clearly I'm going to get run over, right?
Mm.
Well, that's kind of what these guys did. They basically, ended themselves, with pool funding.
Yeah.
Too bad. All right. Pool funding's here to help, and and we're doing a big help, and we'd like to spread the $3,000 a month giveaway to an endless number of people, and only through cooperation can we achieve that. That's why we all are responsible, not just some of us are responsible and the others can do whatever the hell they want. That won't work. It's all for one and one for all. That's the deal, guys. All right. Thanks for getting your inquiry, Willie. Good to hear from you. Anybody else?
Yes, Wes.
Yeah. Jam, go ahead. You got a question or you're saying hello?
Nothing was you understand.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. All right. Anybody else? I don't see, so I think we're good. I think we've been here long enough. And I want to thank all of you for hanging around for the time that we do. We only do 2 trainings a week because, we do invest time when we're here and we want it to be valuable time. So, but think of it as you're an investment in yourself and get your team here so they can make an investment in themselves, because we make it so clear what works against what doesn't work. And my intention isn't to get you to be a millionaire 10, 20 years from now. My intention is for all of you hearing my voice, whether this is on YouTube or you're hearing it live right now, my intention is for all of you to reach millionaire status in less than a year. Okay? So you get started with pool funding in less than a year, reach millionaire status and be fully empowered to do that. And you think you can do that without training? No way. No way. Not gonna happen. Right? But if you want to be a millionaire and you want to get there as fast as possible, then the training is a necessary component. And that's why everybody should be brought into the training. And I can expand it. I could talk to 10,000 of you as easily as I can talk to 100 of you. You know what I'm saying? Don't matter to me. I'll be happy to train a very large group of people. We can do that on Zoom. It's not a problem. Okay. So realize the training's valuable and the training on the account page is critical. Okay. That everybody goes through that and agrees to it all. If they have anything that they question, they should bring it to light so we can address it. Marjorie, did you have something you want to add?
Not now, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
I just heard a buzzing.
But yeah, I want a clarification, sir.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
I want a clarification. So for now that we don't have, we are not allowed to sell distributed tokens. So we are going to pay our upline, our leaders, sir. So we are really obliged to pay monthly 111 to our leaders. So
yeah, now that right there is a side program that I 100% disagree with it, and it should end as quickly as possible. Okay, so any idea that you gotta support your leaders, outside of the the sponsors getting paid by their referrals, if there's something in addition to that, that addition needs to be stopped, because it's putting too much of a burden on the team below it, and it's a very bad idea. So get back with your leaders and tell them that, okay? That they need to stop asking for extra money. That's not a leader. That's basically a parasite. So tell the parasite to stop sucking and do it the right way. Do it the way Ace trains to do it, okay?
Actually, sir,
Okay.
I will answer that question, sir. No, I will answer that because I'm the grand sponsor for that woman. Then that is not an extra payment, sir. That is
Okay.
not an extra payment.
So the way it works is that you know, if in the $3,000 a month giveaway is you send $111 by going click on the website to, in this case, Rosalie. Rosalie sends you back 100. So there you go, 100
Yes,
a
sir.
day. That's $3,000 a month, right? So she sends back she sends back 100, and that way you get $3,000 a month giveaway. You're getting $3,000 a month of the PFS coin, for example, as part of the giveaway. And that $11 should be covered by the person below you, Marjorie, right? So it's not coming out of your pocket, because you shouldn't be in the $3,000 a month giveaway unless you have someone below you that's also paying 111. You know, that's how it works. Does that make sense, Marjorie?
Got it.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
So it should be a break even for you. Like,
Yes,
it's
sir.
no worries, because your person below you got you covered. And then you want to expand that to 2 people, 3 people. Then you have cash flow. Then you got $11 a day cash flow from the second person to infinity. Okay. That's how it works. All right. But I've been hearing this weird thing about, you know, people have to all pay some person way up the line. That's that to me, that's just creating more drama and on this, you know, I just don't want to hear about those kind of things. I don't like that. I think that that's parasitical, and it's basically, you know, but you know what they'll do is they'll say, but you're getting 110 back instead of 100 back. So they twist it, right? So instead of people collecting $11, you know, now they're only getting $1. So they shortchange that, and then money. It's just madness what I've seen people do. You know, do it the right way, guys. Okay, follow the training I'm giving you, because it's straight, clean, and it works. All right, go ahead, Scott. You got your hand up.
Hey,
Hello,
boss.
yeah.
Go ahead, Scott.
It's me, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd just like to clarify the fact that I think because of the way we've got it set up that we get paid directly by the referral, they think they're paying us, but they're not. What is actually happening is, because normally if you're in a company, that the commission would go, or the payment would go to the company, and then the company would pay us commission.
Right.
But because the way you've set it up, it's coming direct to us, but they're not paying us. It's the company or you that's paying us for bringing people into the business. It's a commission for bringing people into the company and growing the business.
I mean, there's a way of looking at it, right? So you could look at it from over here, or you could look at it from over here. But I would recommend the proper way to look at it is that a stockpile has been created, and we're being invited to come be a part of like a co-ownership, right? And so I'm a founder and you're a co-founder, Scott, but I see us the same. We're co-founders together, right?
Mhm.
So in a sense, of course, they're sending it to you. You're part of the company, if you want to call it that, with our shared stockpile of coin, right? And you are deserving of receiving 100% as the owner. That's the proper way to look at it. So if you separate yourself like you're less than or subjected to a company, well, we're not built that way. We're treating you like you are the company, Scott.
Yeah. Okay, I understand that, but I was just trying to use it basically as an analogy that normally people would pay the company, and then the company would pay the commission to, you know, the person that's introduced into the business.
That is normal. Yeah, that is normal.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just basically saying they're not paying us. They're paying for the coin.
Yes.
Yes, they're paying for the coin because that's what they receive. They receive the coin, 100% of what they paid,
Correct.
and we just get commission for introducing them into the company and growing the business. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So the real exchange here is that the purchase of coin happening every day is the value exchange, right? Because the coin is appreciating overall, right? And we expect it to appreciate much more. And so they're getting a good deal. They're trading something that's not appreciating for something that is appreciating, and that's a good deal. And the cool part about it is you get 100% commission, even though you didn't buy the coin that they purchased, right? You didn't buy that coin first and then sell it to them. You didn't buy anything. You just part of the co-founders, and we all surround this stockpile of coin together that's been created for all of us to be kind of in that ownership position together, right? And so you're actually selling coin that you didn't buy first. Now, if I had a taco stand, I'd have to buy the ingredients of tacos first before I could sell you a taco, right? You know what I'm saying? But with pool funding, you don't have to buy the coins first to sell the coins. You just come in as the co-founder, you know, and you now you are equally you're equal to me. You are equal to the fact that you can sell the same coin and get 100% of what people pay in dollars in the USDT coin in dollars. You're getting 100% commission, right? Because you're you know, it's as though you paid for the coin and now you're selling. It's like you bought a car, now you're going to sell the car. But in the case here, you didn't have to buy the car. You know, you have the car, but you're able to sell it. Good deal, and you get paid 100%, right? So there's just want to make it really very, 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 very clear. But along with those coins is a community. Along with that community is a mission, if you will. And inside that mission is a commitment, right? So all of that wraps together, and we want people to understand the full package, not just only one aspect of it, right? So they should never obsess over the fact that they're paying you. They should say, of course, and the people that you get will be paying you. So we're all equals here, right? So I get paid by you and you get paid by your referrals, and that's just how it works. And that's actually a good thing. It's not normal. It's far from normal. But we've seen how normal is like a disaster, right? I mean, almost everything that's normal is mangled and malfunctioning right now. You know, all normal stuff is not working. Okay, right? They're really struggling if they're normal. Normal's not a good thing to shoot for. You know, you know, we want to be extraordinary, and we are. We are extraordinary here in pool funding. We're special. And we got the best deal going with a $3,000 a month giveaway. It's awesome. All right. Thank you, Scott. All right. Urban, you piped up. Did you want to say something, Urban? No? No, that was okay. Marjorie, did we answer all of your questions?
Thank you so much, sir.
All right. You're
Yes,
welcome.
noted.
Glad to hear that. Mary Rishiani, you put in the chat here, is there a limit you can sell? There's no limit to the amount of referrals that you can bring in. So the answer would be no limit, because there's no limit on how many referrals are paying you. I need to learn how to get more referrals. Yeah, you're such a sweet girl, you know, or lady. I don't want to, whatever the nicest way of saying that. Okay, I want to say that. But you know, I think people want to meet you and talk to you, and just embrace the fact that you are someone like that, and that people will want to meet you, and then just add this to the conversation. You know, get that little poster in front of people, put it under their nose. You know, have it ready on your cell phone. You know, have it ready, and you know that you know while you're chatting people on any kind of social media platform, that in your direct messages, you can send it to them. And what I'm referring to is this poster here. Have this ready. This is the starting point I want you all to use. If everybody uses this, then we can always come back to this and say, this is what we're using. It's part of the training. It works. Okay. It's a good starting point. And you'll have an endless number of referrals if you present that list, if you present that image endlessly to people that come into your space. Okay, whether it's in person or online, put that image in front of them. Okay. I can post that video. Yeah, of course. But what I'm showing is an image, So, all right, good. Okay, seems like Tagalog here. I can't understand the Tagalog part, but thank you all for coming to another one of our trainings. And let's just spread this $3,000 a month giveaway. So how about we just end by saying that? Let's spread the $3,000 a month giveaway, right? Everybody unmute and say, let's spread the $3,000 a month giveaway.
Let's spread the $3,000 a month giveaway.
$100 earning every month.